Sad day, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Zinni 62 tonight. Zinni 62 daily live vlog for a very sad October 2nd, and picking up again on a live stream I had earlier today about the events and moving forward to have another discussion here about what happened and finish the other one. I'm going to wait for people to come in. If you're watching this as a video on demand, this is the initial start. That's a double statement, right? Initial start. You can't have an initial start. There's just a start. That's it. This is the start of a vlog that's going to be difficult to do. I toyed with the idea of not doing one tonight after having done one this morning on this matter, and as well as videos. But as I've said before, and I'll say again, yeah, I always loved Las Vegas, and I've enjoyed covering Las Vegas from the perspective of the Consumer Electronics show excuse me, and female bodybuilding contest, because I'm a fan of female bodybuilding, and just visiting, right? And I've always appreciated the culture and the people there. So this is a heavy night, because in between the first video and now, I spent time emailing and calling people that I knew to see if they were okay. Some people I have known that had nothing to do with the Vegas NFL issue. Some I knew because of the Vegas NFL issue, and they're okay. They're okay. But I will tell you, this is a very difficult, very, very difficult time. And it really leaves this project with a circumstance that I was reminded by a viewer I predicted in 2016. And I did so when I was talking about the vulnerability of having a project based that relies on its ticket sales and its throughput revenue activity from a 45% tourist representation. In other words, 45% of the people that use the proposed Oakland Raiders Las Vegas NFL stadium facility will be tourists. And I discussed how it was basically vulnerable to something like what happened very early, very late Sunday night. And it happened, okay? The reality is far different than the scenario. It's one thing to think about the possibility of a terrorist attack happening, because that's what this was, okay? There's no sugarcoating it. And it's another thing to deal with that reality. And right now, myself and others are dealing with the reality. And yeah, I'm going to say this. I think Hennessy just asked me, good evening. Hennessy just asked me a question. He asks, do you think the NFL doesn't care about this, is going to push the plan forward no matter what? Hashtag pray for Vegas. I'm going to say something here for myself. I want it to win under the right circumstance, and this doesn't feel right to me. It's not, I don't know if it's a question if the NFL will push it through. However, I hope Vegas needs a shot in the arm. And so why not the stadium? Why not the NFL team? Why not the Raiders? Under the circumstances. Because this is a gigantic punch in the gut, not just for Las Vegas, but for America and the world. I have never seen anything like the bodies, excuse me, just strewn all over. Yeah, and that's wrong. Okay, excuse me. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. Whew. And it doesn't change. It amplifies one fact, that the economics of this project are, for a large part, based on tourist flow, and that tourist flow is going to be severely, for a time, severely curtailed. Already there are events canceled for tonight and tomorrow, but through the next month, that's going to happen, and it's going to hurt the overall revenue stream from the hotel tax, the stadium hotel tax, and damage to some degree the ability of that tax to generate money that would then lead to a bond issue. The question is for how long that problem will exist. That's the unknown. That really is the unknown. And the best way out of this situation, from a Vegas strong point of view, is for the casinos to write checks and not sit back and wonder if Mark Davis can, get the money together himself. If they really want this NFL stadium to be completed and to be a symbol for the resurgence of Las Vegas, powerful and strong, then the casinos have to stop, excuse me language I'm about to use, fucking around and write checks. And I'm being very blunt because, as I've said before, this project has a ton of problems, and because that are born of a position such that the Raiders need about $1 billion, $100 million, $1,111 million to clear, okay? And they need organizations that are going to cover those operating losses, which total that, okay? Bank of America has said it's not going to do that. The original intent of this project was for Las Vegas Sands to do that. That was the idea. That was the idea. And of course, we know what happened with Mark Davis not responding properly, and Sheldon Adelson bolting from the project and taking his money with him. Which I understand. But this is a different set of circumstances, and it calls for, if Las Vegas is to come back strong, to be Vegas strong, okay? If that has any meaning, then the casinos are going to, with respect to the Raiders, the casinos need to pony up money. That's what needs to happen. They can't sit back anymore and say, gee, we're going to watch and see if Mark can pull this off by himself. That's wrong. That is completely wrong. It needs comprehensive planning. And, it really does. Absent that, it won't work. I'm, under the circumstances, not comfortable with a Oakland Vegas comparison, because I know, look, I've said before, and I said last year, the deal's weak by its structure, okay? But I don't want to gloat over a tragedy. I mean, look, to argue that puts you in that position right now. And that's a really mean place to be. Think about it. That is a really mean place to be. And we are all one people throughout the world. Okay? And so the question is, what will it take for Vegas to come back? It will be a number of things. But look, let's face it. As much as I don't like the fact, as much as many of you don't like the fact, the blunt force trauma reality is that the NFL gave, that hits us over the head collectively, is the NFL gave the Raiders the right to move to Las Vegas. That's out there. And the Raiders have taken some effort and time to do so. That's out there. It's also out there that structurally the deal just simply doesn't work. And we all knew, who understood these numbers, I knew. And I said it a long time ago when I warned about this type of event happening. I warned it. As I was reminded by, I think it was Bouseman that reminded me of that. You could just see that was the case because it's based on tourism flow. We know that. But then I ask you, is it right to punish Las Vegas for that fact in the wake of this tragedy? And you and I both know the answer is a sound and resounding no. Absolutely not. We have to stand one with Las Vegas and help Las Vegas in any way we can because Las Vegas is us. It is America. It is the world. It's humanity. What happened there should not happen to anybody. Anyone at all. It is horrible, 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 and again horrible. And we have to call a timeout and help that city. That is it should not even be a debate, okay? Crawford says, stay in Oakland. Mark does this real talk. It's not going to work. $750 million can be used for police, emergency services, schools. I agree with you, Crawford. I agree with you. But here's my point. This is a different circumstance, and that is out there. I don't know the politics such that this will survive. It may not. But wouldn't it be great to see Las Vegas really do something that shines? Okay? I mean, I don't know that anyone's here from Las Vegas. I'd like to hear from somebody who, and find out what their view is. But my personal view is that it's a lot like 9/11, and and that's what this feels like for me. It feels just like 9/11 all over again. That people have been taken away from you, and you feel powerless to do anything about it. And you want something that comes back strong. You want to make a powerful statement. That's why when Donald Trump was just a real estate guy, I love the idea of him wanting to build the Twin Towers anew, right? I thought that was great. And this time I don't hear that from him for whatever reason, but that's another story. I'm going to get your comments and then I'm going to come back. Barry Lee says, Jimmy Fallon's first words for his cold opening instead of a monologue where here we go again, another senseless attack. Yep. And Eric Madison says, it's such a tragic event. I really hope Las Vegas and the NFL really consider the stadium plan. Barry Lee says, watching Jimmy Fallon on the Tonight Show, he opened with what they call a cold opening with no monologue, just wish Vegas prayers. And then Miley Cyrus and Adam Sandler started to sing Love Without Freedom. And Hennessy says, do you think the NFL doesn't care about, and I think I answered that one. I believe I answered that question. Godfather Grizz will be on tomorrow night, by the way. We're going to do tonight. And, we talked about what we're going to talk about, and it's hard. It really is difficult. It's very difficult to deal with. But let me go over what, and I didn't discuss this in the first live stream. Let me go over what the major problem is right now. If the stadium hotel tax cannot clear an average of $3.4 million monthly, if it dips below that, then it becomes harder to raise money to build the stadium to cover that $750 million we're talking about. That stadium hotel tax money is tied to tourism flow, and it's that tourism flow that's threatened by this action without question. Okay? Without question. That is the enormous problem. So what will happen? It's not that the bond will go to default because it hasn't even been let yet. And the bond hasn't been let because the Raiders have not signed that non-relocation agreement yet. Okay? So we're still in the infancy of all of this. But how the Raiders respond to this, I don't know. Someone will mention the Raiders donated $50,000 to Las Vegas, programs. That's one thing. But that will not change the poor economics of the stadium plan. What needs to happen is that the casinos, one and all, need to make a commitment to this project. And they need to sit back and do the best job of they need to do a level of comprehensive planning they're not known for as a group. They're known for doing it on a per development basis. Ooh, look at that neat casino over there. Ooh, look at that neat resort over there. But as one, coordinated, together with MGM spending X and Las Vegas Sands spending Y, and the Bally's spend, all of the organizations, all the major casino players spending some amount of money to get the stadium project going, and spending money, for parking and everything else, helping take the financial burden off the hands of the Raiders, and doing so in a way that doesn't harm the Raiders' long-term fiscal future. That is coldly what needs to happen. Anything short of that, and this project will not work. That's what's needed. And I have to say, this is the best time to get it. This is the only time to get it. It makes sense to do this that way. It makes sense to make that statement, to have a Super Bowl in Las Vegas, to really make a powerful, primal scream to the world that we live as one. So, Aviation DJ says, especially Aviation Trip reports. Sofa King says, so will Puerto Rico get help after these shootings? That, I'm sure they will. They already are. American Madison says, well, I think the Vegas Sands Bridge has been burned with when Adelson left. And yeah, Eric, and I think that's the case. I don't know if it's unbridgeable in the light of this. This changes everything. I mean, I would think. Okay. But it can't come from Mark Davis because it's glad handing in the wake of tragedy. Hey, there's this tragedy now. Let's all get together and help me. That can't come from him. Okay? It would have to come from the Las Vegas Stadium Authority, and it would have to come from some of the more powerful players within it. It would have to come from MGM's president that's involved in it. It would have to come, Bill Hornbuckle. It would have to come from the Caesars Palace exec that's involved in it, who's legendary. It would have to come from, Stephen Hill, who's the head, right? It would have to come from those players. It can't come from the Raiders. It just can't. It just can't. So, Barry Lee says, the shooting even reached us here in Seguin because our deputy chief of police was there and was shot in the hand. Oh my God. Was anyone else impacted by this who might be on here? Oh, that's horrible. Hey, Barry, if you tweet this out, please tweet the Raiders. Also, that's not the only problem the Raiders have right now. There's another one. Derek Carr is out, and I believe he's out for 6 weeks. I believe he's out for 6 good weeks, and I think, but I will say this: EJ Manuel, my prediction, EJ Manuel will step in and more than get the job done, but he will set the Raiders off on a win streak like they've never seen before. To that, Crawford 371 informs us that ding, the Chiefs won again. And you know what? I thought the Redskins, the way they started off, were going to wax the Chiefs and blow them out of their own stadium. Didn't happen. The Chiefs rise again. They win. They are the class of the AFC West right now. We just have to say that. We just have to call it out, for what it is. Okay. We just have to call it out for what it is. The class. Now getting back to this Vegas issue, Mob Make Oakland Better is planning a blood drive. So if you want to give blood to help the people in Las Vegas, stay tuned, and Greg Grizz and I will give you the details tomorrow. But they're going to be planning a series of blood drives to help people in Vegas, because those hospitals need all the blood they can get and then some. So that's one thing you should look out for. Something that Forever Oakland, MOB, Make Oakland Better, is going to be involved, going to be doing. Hey, Richard Lucero. Well, it's been better circumstances. Pedro Guerrero says, hey, Zinni, I just finished watching Kansas City win. The running game helped them win. Time of possession for Kansas City is almost like 40 minutes. Wow. Rick Rice, you the man. Yeah, welcome, guys. We're talking about the Raiders stadium problem in Las Vegas structurally, and the need, and what the overall problem, which is that the hotel tax, the stadium hotel tax, is threatened because there are already many event cancellations, many show cancellations for the next 2 nights at least. The question is how long. You know, what I don't know, and I'm going to look this up right now, is I don't know to what degree tourism was affected in Paris after the Paris attack, right? So I never looked at the numbers, but I think it's fair to look at it now. Right now, Paris attacks, tourism impact is what I'm typing in Google. See if I get any response from that. And I did. Okay, and so this is what Las Vegas and Nevada is staring at. Paris loses 644 million pounds as tourists steer clear of the city after terror attacks. France's tourism industry has dipped sharply since 130 people were killed in Paris in November. And it says Britons, and this is in the independent.co.uk. Britons and other foreign tourists have stayed away from Paris as terrorist attacks, strikes, and floods cost the Paris region tourism industry some 750 million pounds, 644 million pounds, which translates, 1 pound is, I believe, what, $2.2, something like that. So that's 1.2 billion, something like that. France is the most visited country in the world, with 85 million tourists spending time there last year. I didn't realize that. France is a more visited country than the United States. The country relies heavily on its tourism industry and generates more than 7% of its gross domestic product from tourism, over 13% of that total in the Paris region alone. But the number of tourists visiting the region has gone down markedly since 130 people were killed in Paris in November. The section suffered another blow when a gunman drove a truck into a crowd celebrating Bastille Day in Nice, killing 85 people. Strikes and floods have also taken their toll. And so there you are. Basically, that's, they say at some realize the tourist sector is going through an industrial disaster. And so if we have any, if the Paris attack is going to be our guide, then it's quite obvious that Las Vegas has to brace itself for a very similar outcome. Another gauge will be CES and how many people come to that. I'm definitely going to cover CES again, and for what will be the 10th year in a row for me, okay? So, for me. So, Richard Lucero says, you would think Israel, Jerusalem ranks up there in the Holy Land. Yeah, that is a surprising statistic. Hey, Raider Flea, how are you? That Paris is the most visited, France is the most visited country in the entire world. The whole wide world. Wow. I mean, even over the United States. That's something else. I've got to look at the numbers to see that for myself, okay? Because I think about, when I think of America, I think of not just the continental United States, I think of Hawaii, right? And we could think of Puerto Rico, too. Whew, which has got its own troubles. So, but yeah. So anyway, the question is, how will Vegas rebound? And Eric says, Eric Madison says, I tried to share an article about the NBA with a preseason game in Vegas. Okay. But what? Okay. So what do you guys think about this? I mean, what do you think about these attacks? How did they affect you? I'm going to read your comments. So write down, welcome to Zenny62. Write down your chats. What do you think about the comments? What do you think should happen to the stadium plan? What should Las Vegas do to revive it? Because it does now have a problem. What do you think? And if you're on Facebook, please grab this live stream and post it on your profile, and let people know that we're talking about this, and invite them in. I'm typing even in Raiders hashtag Raiders live stream, hashtag Vegas strong, hashtag Vegas strong. Yeah. So let's there we go. All right. What do you say? What do you all say about this? I'm going to continue talking about this. And by the way, it's a double shares night. And what that means is that if you invest, say, $2, I will give you shares the equivalent of $4. I'm still behind on updating my spreadsheet. I will get that out by Tuesday. But what do you guys think about this tragic day? I mean, there are 22 of you watching, so I know somebody out there has a view among you. Please express. Write it down. Even if it's a one-word response. What do you think? And something else here as far as the numbers for the stadium. I don't know how much money the stadium hotel tax has raised since July or August. I know that it's gone down steadily like this on a trajectory which would point to a negative outcome. But I don't know what it looks like for September or August. Okay, I have no idea there. What does it look like? I don't know. So I've got, let's see, Pedro Gallardo says, I'm from the Fresno, California area. I am saving money to take a Greyhound bus to Las Vegas to watch my Raiders. I never felt worried about going to a game, but what happened in Vegas has me thinking. Has you thinking what? Pedro, go ahead, thinking like, are you skeptical about this, or what are you thinking? Karen Christian says, hello everyone, pray for the victims. Absolutely. Completely, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Completely pray for the victims. I can't say enough about how sad it is to see people like who I admire, like the mayor of Las Vegas, go through this sort of thing. Barry Lee says they've already treated his hand, released him, and he's on his way back home. Oh, okay. Wow. Eric Madison says, I'm happy that Godfather Grizz is planning a blood drive. I may donate blood at the blood drive. Pedro says Vegas feels like a target when Oakland feels like under the radar for some reason. Yeah, but you know something else too. This attack, and I said this earlier, it's not the only one that happened this year. Remember we had the Las Vegas Strip being shut down after the Cosmopolitan shooter that was loose, and there was another one earlier before that this year. It's the third time something like this has happened, but this is just worse by far. And Reichwein Family Sports says, I don't think the NFL will last in Vegas nor Los Angeles. Could see several teams fold over the next 5 years with the issues going on today. Reichwein, what do you think should be done? What do you think the Raiders should do about Vegas? Do you think they should punt or continue the fight? And if so, how? Because I believe that the only way to make the Oakland Raiders' quest for a stadium in Las Vegas successful is if the casinos stop and pony up money, period. Other than that, with what's happened with this tragedy, the economics of the economics of this design, considering all that, it just doesn't have a bright future unless that happens. It just is straight out the case. So, but what do you think as well? What do you think? Jason Cole, is this This guy says he's always Jason Cole, but I don't know if he really is Jason Cole, because the guy who really is Jason Cole, doesn't he actually need to say he's Jason Cole? Jason Cole, are you really Jason Cole? All right. All right. He says, hi, Zinni, this is Jason, and with the tragedy in Las Vegas, the NFL still could, will the NFL still consider Rails going crazy? But are you really Jason Cole? I'm just asking, are you really Jason Cole? Inquiring minds want to know, are you really, let me put it this way, if you're really Jason Cole, text me, because Jason has my text. If you are, text me, because Jason Cole has my number. If you're Jason Cole, text me now. Yeah, I figured it was a fake name guy. And see, the reason why I say that is because this asswipe, and I'm going to say that just like that, does that every time I talk about Vegas. Nothing else. So it could be, you know, the guy that was playing Ricky Bobby for a time there, or it could be the guy who was, what was that guy that was on the local Las Vegas media scene who had the, whatever. So anyway, Barry Lee says, I think he's fake because he wouldn't call the emails. He would call me. Yeah, that's the thing. I did text Jason and ask him if he had done that, but he didn't get back to me. So I think what I'm going to do is, until that person, if Jason Colby wants to identify himself, he can text me. So I'm going to block that person. Sorry, Jason. Oh, wait a minute. He says this is another. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. View deleted in that message. All right. And then the other guy says, this is another Jason Cole, not the Jason Cole, the NFL reporter. Oh, okay. Well, then we unban him then. At least he's honest about it. But then don't say you're Jason Cole. Just, you know, just say, okay, you're unblocked. But just, you know, don't say you're Jason Cole as if you're Jason Cole, because the last time you said you were Jason Cole, I said, hey, this is Jason Cole of the Bleacher Report, and you didn't correct me, okay? And that's what I thought, wait a minute, this person's done this twice. He keeps saying this is Jason Cole, all right? Just asking. So I unbanned you, but now that, you know, we know. Rita Kuko says, thank you. Welcome to this discussion regarding the Oakland Raiders in Las Vegas and Derek Carr. And I have said, for those of you who are here, I have said that I felt that the casinos, one and all, needed to pony up money to help the Raiders pay for the stadium in Las Vegas. Otherwise, with the bad economics that are certain to come into play after this horrible tragedy, it's not going to happen. The construction cost money flow is now threatened. Okay? It'll have to dip into the general fund very early if tourism is curtailed in Las Vegas at the rate that it was in Paris after the Paris attacks. So, yeah. So anyway, Rita Kuko says, I remember you mentioning something at the owners' meetings about the Vegas deal being one incident like this away from collapsing. Do I remember correctly? You were correct. Didn't someone respond? No one ever responded to me. No. Actually, Richard says, my heart and my prayers go out to those family members that lost their lives. I really believe the stadium is a bust, and I'm sorry, but the Raiders belong in Oakland, not Las Vegas. Rest in peace. And Ray Kuko says, didn't someone respond to you that spoiled their party? They may very well have. I mean, I think it was, I didn't raise the issue at the owners' meeting in a question, but I have raised the issue before. I've said, hey, look, this is one terrorist attack away from being a bad deal, a deal gone south. And we, you know, what really hurts me to the point of, you know, my reaction earlier is here we are. And saying that, establishing that scenario is far different from living that scenario. We're now living that scenario. We're now living that scenario. And it does not feel good, and I do not root against Las Vegas. I root for Las Vegas. But my rooting for Las Vegas is not going to change the bad deal structure that exists. The deal structure is horrible. And the only way to overcome it is for the top casinos to write checks to help pay for, first, off-site infrastructure costs and cost overruns. The casinos need to be ready to point up $1.1 billion. That's what they need to do to help the Raiders and the NFL do the stadium. Otherwise, you can forget it. If it is continued business as usual, where the casinos step back and they, watch like this and say, we've got our own stuff to take care of, forget it. Forget it. Now, I'm just talking about real, live, structural issues with the deal. That's it. So, hey, Crawford says not Jason Cole would be a good name. Braley says, yeah, I hate fake people. Should be banned because they're all looking for his attention. Hey, go CSU Rams. Eric Madison says, I say punt. You have a better long-term success in Oakland, and I'm skeptical the casino will pony up money. Yeah, I'm skeptical too. I mean, that's the thing. They would not only have to pony up the money, but they would have to understand that they need to throw any return on investment desires out the window. This deal has a negative return on investment structure of 40.39% right now. Okay, so they'd have to say, oh, you know what, we're going to take a loss, but look, Vegas strong, let's do it. So, hey, Karen, how are you? Holy Roller 510, how are you? And the Barber 1974, I haven't seen you in a while. The Barber 1974 says, condolences to the victims. Does this tragic event hurt or help the Raiders' chances staying in Oakland? Well, as I was discussing before you arrived, Barber, the poor structure of this deal would lead one to say, keep the Raiders in Oakland. I hate to see the Vegas people damaged in this way if they truly, really care. But the only way to demonstrate they truly, really care is for the casinos to stop sitting on the sidelines and, led by Sheldon Adelson, who jumped out of this to begin with, come back in and write a check. And if that happens, the NFL has to say, you know what? Fine. It's great for them to be involved. We support it. Because that wasn't the issue. That's what caused this. So Vegas strong must mean, it has to mean business unity from all corners. Absent that, this deal falls apart. And it goes back to Oakland. Okay? That's where we're at. And not only that, that's the kind of outcome I would like to see for Vegas. Okay? Because it makes sense. The basic problem with this deal is that it is done as a lone wolf operation. The Raiders went off and did this. They had one casino involved in terms of money. Mr. Davis upset Sheldon Adelson, as Sheldon Adelson supposedly bolted. No other casinos have stepped up with money. One thing to say, great idea, like Steve Wynn says, great idea. But Steve, did you write a check? Ah, great idea. But, and then the but is leaving you to complete the sentence, which is, I didn't write the check, right? Stephen Wynn needs to write a check. Stephen Wynn and Sheldon Adelson both need to write checks. If they don't write checks, it doesn't help. If they write checks, it really says they want to make a statement. # Vegas strong. That's what I'm getting at. So there it lays out Barber 1974. Holy Roller says, had a question, Zenny. Can the JPA still be part of the lawsuit and still negotiate a new lease with the Raiders? Yes and yes. How will this affect the stadium lease extension and future talks of a new stadium in Oakland? Well, you can't really do a lot. Well, you can do a lawsuit. On the one hand, you could say, look, we're behind this lawsuit, but we're going to work with the Raiders, okay? because they're only trying to be party to the lawsuit. The JPA is not driving it. They can simply say, we will partner with you, which means we agree with the intent, but we're not putting money into it. So that leaves the Forever Oakland Group as the driver of the lawsuit. The JPA can go on and do what it wants to do. All the JPA is doing with the lawsuit is trying to keep the Oakland Raiders in Oakland anyway. In terms of negotiating a lease extension, all they're trying to do is keep the Raiders in Oakland anyway. So they win on both fronts. If the Raiders say, we're not going to do this, if you partner with them, that may be a problem. I say maybe because where are the Raiders going to go? San Antonio? You know, where are they going to engineer a place to play before they get this mess straightened out in Vegas? And right now, it is an enormous mess. So, my personal feeling is to err on the side of being nice and say, you know what? Raiders are going through a tough time with an area that needs its support in Las Vegas. And we should give the Raiders and the JPA this gigantic, more viable option, but don't push it. Just soft pedal and feather it. Take the lawsuit part out of the way, put it in the background, be nice, because it's a fragile time for everybody. It's a fragile time for everybody. Okay, it's a fragile time for everybody. And then let the Raiders make the decision. Because in Las Vegas, the Raiders are faced with a question. Will the casinos write the check? Will they come up? How much should that check be? Well, it should be the off-site transportation and street and road infrastructure payments plus parking. All right? So that bundle comes in at, well, not including the relocation fee, it comes in at about $700 million, okay? You add the relocation fee, it's well over $1 billion. But the casinos should step forward and pay that. And right now, there's no schedule for them to do that, okay? So, I hope that answers your question, Holy Road 510. Raider Flea writes, the last time I checked, Zinni, the casinos are not in the business of giving out handouts. They're not. But this is also an unusual situation. Go CSU Rams says, Kansas City Chiefs 4-0 now. Wow, only undefeated team left in the NFL. Oh, Tom Petty did die. Oh, no. Man. Oh, you know, this day is really fucked. Oh, man. Okay, I made a video earlier. Tom Petty had passed away. Then, and I really feel bad for his daughter. His daughter went berserk. Okay, berserk. He did pass away. Wow. Because in the reports where he's not dead, he's clinging to life, and oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. That hurts so much. That hurts so very much. That really does. I cannot say enough just how lousy a day this has been. In a lot of fronts. It just, the Lord could not have structured a more worse. Well, no, I take that back. This has been a pretty bad day. That's just, you know, Tom Petty's daughter is got to be the sickest person in the world. And because she laid into Rolling Stone just something terrible. And this is what she wrote earlier today, when in response to all these reports that were that Tom Petty was dead. And now it says that, you know, wow. Okay. She got really pissed off. This is what she wrote. Her name is Anna Kim Violet Perry, Tom Petty's daughter. Hey, Joseph Binsman, how are you? She wrote, my dad is not dead yet, but your fucking magazine is. She wrote, you put the worst artists on your covers, do zero research. How dare you report that my father has died just to get press because your articles and photos are so dated. And then she continues, this is my father, not a celebrity, an artist, human being. And she'd earlier requested a request for privacy during this time. And so she, she says, send love. I'm asking for privacy and respect from strangers during this time. I love you and send love to you and your family. This is a beautiful and private time. I love you, Dad. That is sad. That is sad. That's sad for her to have to go through reading about her father and she can do nothing about it. That's sad. My heart goes out to her. It really does. My heart goes out to her. You know, it's he was oh boy, man, wow. Those reports about him clinging to life were sad and true. And now the Jimmy Kimmel Show just came in with a cold monologue, but he's crying uncontrollably, but still being able to talk about Vegas. Wiggle babies. Zinni, is Oakland still going to try eminent domain in the courts? Right now, all that is, I don't know what the legal strategy is going to be. But I know the 20th of October is coming up, still a ways off. Let's see what happens. At the JPA meeting, Eric Madison says, I think they should build a stadium for UNLV only and have the draft and Pro Bowl every year in Vegas and a Super Bowl once in a while. Ed Reed says, my heart goes out to the families who lost their loved ones in Las Vegas. I still think there is a backdoor deal going on as far as Oakland. I agree. Pedro Guardo says, let's say Raiders stay in Oakland. Would Las Vegas still be a Raiders town? There would still be the option for the Raiders to take it. It would still be sitting out there, okay? Barry Lee says, Jimmy Kimmel is now going off on the NRA, said because the NRA has Congress by the balls. And Holy Roller says, yes, thank you. Eric Madison says, breaking entertainment news. A spokeswoman for Tommy Petty says he's passed away. KTVU. Joseph Binsman says, good evening. And Karen Christian says, hello, Joseph. And hey, Karen. So that's where we're at. As far as Derek Carr being out, I have a question for everybody. Do you all believe that E.J. Manuel can get it done? Or either by a yes or a no or a show of hands? Yes. I believe E.J. Manuel will not only get it done, but that he will emerge with a better statistical performance than Derek Carr would have put in. So I say yes. All right. What say you guys? What say the rest of you? I say yes. What say the rest of you about that? What say the rest of you about it? So, oh, hold on a second. We had a no. Karen says no. And, Wiggle Baby says, what's happening October 20th? That's the JPA meeting to come. Joseph Binsman says, horrible massacre in Vegas, but we Americans need to get serious about guns in this country. Yes. Guns and mental health. Yes. The status quo is not acceptable. Absolutely. Wiggle Baby says, EJ, get it done? Maybe, but our season's in jeopardy. Wiggle Baby says, we'll be lucky if we get wild card. Pedro Gallardo says, EJ will win next 2 games, not against KC. Barry Lee says, have a good night. Hey, good night, Barry Strong. Vegas Strong, Barry. Right Twin Family Sports says, I like your channel. I'll check back soon. Gotta go now. Did you subscribe? Eric Madison. No, I also see articles the Raiders should bring in Colin Kaepernick. I'm not favoring that because you have to train him. It's not a political issue. It's a matter of you have EJ Manuel. He's went through training camp. He's ready. Let him come in. Colin Kaepernick, I understand. But you would set up this situation. You would have EJ Manuel, Connor. Who do you put on the bench? Connor Cook or Kaepernick as third string. If Kaepernick comes in, you would have to put him in as the veteran ahead of Cook, even though Cook is better trained. So really, you know what? Kaepernick should be third string. And I don't like that. And Colin Kaepernick wouldn't settle for that either. I mean, he doesn't act like he's in a hurry to come back, okay? And then there's the question of his, ability to step in and play right now. So I think E.J. Manuel is the best bet. And I like E.J.'s throwing motion. So we've got Binsman says, still mad after Sandy Hook. Still so mad after Sandy Hook. When a classroom of little ones was blown away, Congress sat on the lap of the NRA and said, we prefer money to lives. We have to be better than this, America. Pedro says, I said that one. Karen Christensen says, I think it might take a couple of games to warm up. He does not have time with the offense. Right. Holy, talking about Kaepernick. Holy Rose says, E.J. Manning looking good. Amari Cooper needs to catch the ball. Yep. Yeah, he needs to fight for that ball. If he went up and fought for that ball, the Raiders would have scored a touchdown. Raiders win, game over. They walk out of the stadium with a W. When everybody, including myself, said, oh, man, they ain't going to lose. They're going to lose this one. Raiders would say, yeah, I told you. You like that? You like that? McKinsey, Ms. Zeitgeist 85. Hey, how are you? Haven't seen you in a while. Says, I saw an article about how the Raiders might get their loan if what was this? If the NFL protests continued. I saw an article if the NFL might not get their loan. Now, Ms. Zeitgeist, that is a shitty article. I know what you're talking about. It's shitty. Okay, so don't even. And hey, Ms. Zeitgeist, you're not Karen as well, are you? But because Karen Christensen showed me that article last night, and it was totally baseless. It wasn't sourced. It was based on somebody's idea. Don't believe BS articles that don't have a quote from somebody or numbers or anything else. It was awful, awful article, just bad. Rick Gray, hi Zenny. War guns have no place in the Second Amendment. Yes. This man was rich and had 42 total guns, 42 and 19 with him in the hotel room. What was your take about the stadium at the Mandalay Bay? And I look, they need to really sit down and say, hey, what kind of situation are we setting up here if the stadium is built? Let's do a scenario plan around what happened with the stadium, determine the outcome, and say, hey, look, do we like these results? And if not, how do we mitigate them? What kind of results? Well, how about 65,000 people with tickets, almost 100,000 people around the stadium that don't have tickets? Then something like this happens again. Where do they go? Do they go running out in the tarmac in the airport, 60,000 strong or more than they were, the other night? What happens? Those are the types of questions that need to be asked. What about parking? Are you situating the parking in such a way that you leave other people to be vulnerable to a similar situation? These are really solidly hard, you got to deal with these right now questions that must be dealt with right now. They have to be. And again, given the project's fiscal weight between the off-site transportation costs, between the Clark County regulations regarding additional upgrades for streets and roads in the area, given the parking costs, which is about $200 million alone, given all that, the casinos need to make a decision to pony up the money and then do it. That's the only thing that's going to save this project. Because otherwise, right now, I can comfortably tell you that Clark County's general fund is threatened. The Raiders have not signed their non-relocation agreement yet, so the bond hasn't become active. So there's really nothing to dip into yet, right? There's no bond that has been let to, give the check to start building the stadium. That hasn't happened yet. That hasn't happened yet. We don't know what the numbers look like for the stadium hotel tax revenue. That hasn't happened yet. Since, July, August? And they've been on a downward trend. What did it look like for September? Is it still on that downward trend? Did it not clear 3.4 million for the month? Ooh, if it didn't. Okay, so Richard Lucero says, I believe in E.J. Manuel. He was drafted #1. He has something to prove, and I love Carr. But hey, if it turns out to be great, fantastic, I'm behind Manuel 100%. And we've got his like guy says, nope, not this, that's not me. Talking about Karen. King So Simple says, gun laws are way too easy. This man could buy these mini guns without raising an alarm. But I can't buy 2 bottles of cough syrup from the store without pharmacist approval. Yeah, isn't that weird? And Wiggle Baby says, laugh out loud, right? And Corey Brown says, is there a backup site for stadium in Las Vegas? No. Well, Cashman, North Side. Yeah, the mayor wanted that. Holy Roller 510 says, although I think there's some toxic issues with that. Holy Roller 510 writes, Budweiser thinking of pulling sponsorship from the NFL. Why? Because of what? Well, Joseph Binsman says the Republicans got rid of the Obama-era rule saying mentally ill couldn't buy big guns. Yeah, pretty sure it was a mistake by the Trump administration. People can't be okay with how things are goods. Excuse me, they can't be at all. Karen Christian says EJ has more experience than Cook. King So Simple says he passed the background check. Well, the background check is lame. If he passed the background check, it's lame. All right? And so they didn't find him mentally ill. But on what basis? Just because I say you're not mentally ill doesn't mean you're not mentally ill. It just meant that I said you weren't mentally ill. But if you go off and you do something like that Joker did, no, you're mentally ill. What the real issue is we don't have the proper way to find a guy like that and say he's mentally ill and get him off the streets. King So Simple says, I don't care. That's up to them. I'm just saying it doesn't work either way. Gotcha. I agree with you there. And Joseph Benson says, do you view that dude as saying today, King? Come on. No, that's what I'm saying. He's not saying. Oh, King is saying it. Are you King? What, King? Are you saying that? I'm just curious. You know, just want your. Are you saying that? Wow. I just want to know. You know what your thought is on that. Are you saying that? Holy cow. Tom Petty, man, Free Fallin'. Anybody got a favorite Tom Petty song? Mine is wow, Refugee. Don't you know what? Don't have to live like a refugee. Hold on a second. I gotta play just a little bit of Tom Petty here, just a little bit. I mean, Tom is the man. Tom Petty, okay? Tom Petty. Refugee. Refugee. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Man, that's sad. Okay. All right. Much about it. It don't really matter to me, baby. You can believe what you wanna believe. Yes, you don't have to live like a refugee. Don't have to live like a refugee. Hey, good night, Eric. We'll see you, man. Listen, it don't make no difference to me, baby. Everybody's got to fight to be free. Say it down. Have to live like a refugee. Don't have to live like a refugee. Have to live like a refugee. Don't All right, you get the idea. I love that, man. Tom Petty. Don't have to live like a refugee. And Tom Petty is the man. I'm sorry. I just had to get a little bit of that out of the way, man. Tom Petty is the man. Don't have to live like a refugee. Earplugs. How can you want? Oh, excuse me, Rick Gray. How can you want earplugs? Excuse me, if that was the video singing and not me? I was just lip singing, man. If you needed earplugs for that, then you don't like Tom Petty. I am a Tom Petty fan, straight up. Tom Petty, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. That's all I say. Ms. Zeitgeist says, Bill O'Reilly's comments saying this is the price of freedom really burned me up, mostly because there's so many people that agree with him. Yeah, Cinder says, not worry about copyrights. No, because in terms of, you know, what I did, am I expecting to have somebody maybe, you know, say, hey, look, you know, no, they're not going to give me a copyright strike for that. No, not at all. Would they want, you know, a piece of the revenue? Of course they would. I mean, unquestionably, I have no problem giving that money up, considering the circumstances regarding Tom Petty. And we're already talking about a sensitive subject regarding, you know, the Vegas issue. So this is just that kind of night. Okay, I have no problem with that, but it will not net a copyright strike. A copyright strike, and I'm glad you brought that up, comes up when you're photographing a live event. Like, for example, when I did that Grammys thing and I turned around, I showed the actual Grammys for a bit. That was and it shouldn't have, you know, it shouldn't have been a copyright strike, but I left it on a little too long, and it was. This is entirely different. This is my vision and me just lip syncing it. Okay, it's like da, 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 da. And you can occasionally hear my voice, and then I might cut in and I cut it out and then I cut it off. Right? Not only that, it's so. However they determine that, you know, in terms of whether or not they get some percentage of the revenue, that's fine with me. That's fine. I'm happy to pay it. It won't be much because this is not like gaining 10,000 views or like, you know, 40,000 views. Would be nice, but it's not. So, you know, I can give that up. That's okay. That's okay. So, Rick Gray's Let's Laugh Out Loud. So, we've got 510 says, oh, how about that girl could get recording contractors, so could Zenny. Ms. Zeitgeist says, O'Reilly said that mass shootings are the price of freedom. Is Bill O'Reilly still matters? Is anyone still listening to him? Richard Lucero says, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, man, talking about old school. Don't come around here no more. Hey, Rick Petty, that's right. Rick, hey, rest in peace, Tom Petty. Hey, don't come around here no more. Whatever you're looking for, baby, don't come around here no more. Anyway, wow. Rick Gray says, get real, people. He's paying tribute to Tom Petty. I was joking. I know you were joking. I loved it, man. I loved every second of it. Ms. Like Ice says, O'Reilly is still relevant to people 70 and older. Ooh, Donis. Donis, how you be, man? What is happening with Donis? Donis, how you doing? Donis is in the house. Donis, well, I think we kind of already know what's new, right? You want to fill us in more on what's new? Wow. Tom Petty, man, that's sad. That just, you know what? Before I saw that, I was thinking, yay, Tom Petty's still with us, man. And then not this. And boy, that's not cool. Not cool at all. And I'll go back now after saying that, and I'll go and we'll take a look at what the heck happened with the Kansas City Chiefs. Rick Gray says, I talked to a young man on Saturday night that works for a soil company that has already been hired to drill test piles. He said the raiders have retained them at $12 million. This is the part of prepping land. Okay, so how far have they come? 12 million. How far? Where are they with that? $12 million. Okay, so they're drilling test piles for 12 million. So where are they in the process? Because, well, I know that this is going to be a tough slog. Again, the tourism numbers, I know they're going to be lower. The question is just by how much. And Rick Gray says his point was that they're going to build the stadium. Well, yeah, I mean, they're testing it, but they hired them to test the soil. But remember, if they haven't signed the non-relocation agreement, and now we have this problem, hey, John Marks, where the key source of money that fuels the $750 million subsidy is threatened post this terrorist attack. Because already events are canceled. For today, some for the entire week already in Las Vegas. Those events that draw tourists. And the Paris, in the case of the Paris attacks, Paris lost 644 million pounds of tourist revenue. And you can't tell me that's not going to happen in Las Vegas. So, it's a terrorist attack. And there are political ties. So that's ridiculous. King is like, it's not a terrorist attack. There are no political ties. It is a terrorist attack. It's, if you take a look at the Nevada definition of what a terrorist attack is, you are 1,000% wrong. So go away. It's King. It's in the Las Vegas law. Get a clue. Okay, it's right there in the law. All right. You're wrong. You want me to just ban you and shut the fuck up? Look up the Las Vegas law. Look up the Nevada law. It says it right there what a terrorist attack is. That's old. Okay? Look, you're gone, okay? Screw you. All right? I'm putting you in a timeout, and I'm going to get the proof that it's a terrorist attack, because, you know, this is not, I don't feel like dealing with bozos. And I've never seen this guy before. It's a bozo. So get out of here. Gong, get out. All right. Nevada terrorism law. This has already been, okay? All right, and here it is. Nevada state law defines Las Vegas mass shooting as an act of terror. Here we go. And the reason why I blocked that guy is because even if I showed it, he's just going to say, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And I don't feel like putting up with that BS. So since I don't feel like putting up with that BS, and, you know, he decided to, let me stop this. Okay. Let me turn this around. All right. And this reads, police investigating the mass shooting of concert goers at a music festival in Las Vegas have said they are not treating the incident as an act of terrorism. But Nevada law suggests Sunday night's massacre of at least 50 people can be defined as such. The state statute says an act of terrorism may mean any act that involves the use or attempted use of sabotage, coercion, or violence, which is intended to cause great bodily harm or death to the general population. That's it. Okay? So from that, it's a terrorist attack. Because that's exactly what happened. And that's the Nevada state statute. It's a terrorist attack, okay? So that's it. It's a terrorist attack. That's by Nevada's own statute. The reason why they don't want to call it a terrorist attack is business-wise. They don't want to scare people away. Oh my God, we've been the victim of a terrorist attack, like the Paris attacks, and all of a sudden, psh, tourism downturn. But it's a terrorist attack. And I'm looking right here, the state statute is NRS 202.4415, act of terrorism defined. It says 1, act of terrorism means any act that involves the use or attempted use of sabotage, coercion, or violence, which is intended to A, cause great bodily harm or death to the general population, or cause substantial destruction, contamination, or impairment of 1, any buildings or infrastructure, communications, transportation, utilities, or services, or 2, any natural resource of the environment. 2, as used in the section, coercion does not include an act of civil disobedience, and so on. So that's it. I mean, it's clearly spelled out what a terrorist attack is in Nevada under Nevada state statute. So you lose. Okay? You lose. And not only that, King, when I ask you to come to my channel and do research to prove your case, you do the research or you get booted. I booted you. All right? I booted you. Okay? So there. Now, because I don't feel like putting up with that crap tonight. At all. Yeah, King got Konged. Y'all, Mark said King got zonked. No, King got Konged. You know, King Kong. King Kong. King Kong. King Kong. King got Konged. All right? Carr says, Ricky, Bobby, King is out of here. Again, prayers go out to the victims of Las Vegas concert goers. Absolutely. King got Konged. King is Donkey Kong. John Mark says King is Donkey Kong. But wait, the question is King the king of Donkey Kong? King may have gotten Konged, but he didn't get Godzilla, which sets up King Kong versus Godzilla. Anyway, okay. What's Boss talking about? Boss says, do I have everyone's attention now? Yes. Raider Flea says, you're on point, Zany. Thank you. Pedro Gallardo says, come on, King. People freaking out lost their lives. Don't joke about this. Now, he's gone. You know what? He's gone. The shooter was on the 32nd. Yeah. They're not ready. King got the blonde. King got the blonde. Hey, by the way, folks, this is, if I did not mention, this is a double shares night. And please invest. Karen, thank you for your investment. You will get your shares later tonight. So those of you who are around and have been supportive, if you would buy me a cup of coffee, that would be fantastic. This is a double shares night. But Holy Roller says, King got the blonde. Oh, and by the way, since we're talking about King got the blonde, a great shout out to Andre Ward on his retirement. What made me think about that? Well, it's a complex set of things. But Andre Ward retired. I want to get him on the show. I still owe it to Oakland's boxer community to shore up that relationship. I've got some work we got to do in that regard. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done. So, but I digress. All right. Hey, my screen is frozen. Ah, here we go. Back. Oh, it's just coming in. All right. Crawford says King got Andre Ward. Ooh. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Sorry about that. Let me take that out. Remove. Got that one. All right. Now, PayPal.me. Copy. You see, copied, and try that again. Let's have at it again. Said the Squire of Gothos. You ever see that Star Trek episode from the original series, The Squire of Gothos, with Trelane? Oh boy. Trelane, the Squire of Gothos. Joseph Bensman says, what did King say earlier? The King was saying that it's not an act of terrorism, and I was saying that by Nevada law it is. And Nevada statute 202, NRS 202.410. Thank you for the investment, by the way. NRS.202.410 of Nevada statute defines an act of terrorism basically as an act of violence done to cause great bodily harm to the general population. That's what this was. And that is an act of terrorism. That's exactly what Stephen Paddock committed, an act of terrorism. He is, from that strict definition, a terrorist. I don't care what the Vegas police says. The statute says they're wrong. And that is the law. So, John Marks asks, he says, Brad Brugman says, are you freaking out that Carr is out for at least 2 weeks? I'm not, because I believe E.J. Manuel will get it done. John Marks says, what happens if terrorist attack hits during a Vegas football game? See? I hate to think about the aftermath. Mark Davis needs to realize that Oakland is the best thing ever to happen. Bosch says, karma. Joseph Binsman says, it's definitely an act of terrorism. This country seems to have a problem calling a shooting by a white guy an act of terrorism. Exactly. You know, that's how stupid this whole thing is. You know, I think not only that, it was an act of terrorism against white, young country fans. Mostly white. There were some black folks there, like maybe a hand, like, you know, what? One out of maybe every 400. But the point is, he had a specific target, and maybe he disliked them for some stupid, nutty, crazy reason. Whatever, he did what he did. It was heinous, and then he took his own life. I mean, did some girl reject him down there, and he just premeditated this thing and said, I'm gonna do this because of that? He was not mentally there. And he hid it. He was allowed to exist, to hide in plain sight. That's what this is all about. So, Bosch Ruler says karma is real. Joseph Benjamin says definitely agrees, Zenny. Bosch Ruler says EJ is not good. Laugh out loud. I disagree with Boss. Holy Roller says want to see Oakland native Lenny Davis, the fourth box coming up October 21st in the San Francisco Armory building. Okay. Oh, you went to see him. How did he do? And, oh, that's right. How did he do? Because there was 2 Oakland guys, right? There was also the fellow that was on our show. Joseph Binsman says, these shooters prove racism is alive, unfortunately. A further insult to their death tolls. And Rick Gray says, premeditated 20 guns, AK-47. Have officials figured out why this coward did this? If they have, I haven't heard it yet. Joshua RG says, I would grab Cap ASAP because if Manuel goes down, Cook is not going to get the job done. Cap behind our line could potentially be insane. Yeah, I agree with you. My concern is, well, you know what? Why not have an embarrassment of riches? You have Colin Kaepernick. It would really do great wonder for ticket sales, wouldn't it? Colin Kaepernick, E.J. Manuel, Connor Cook. You got Derek Carr waiting in the wings. What do you do when Carr comes back? Do you unload Cook? You have, wow, what a stable of quarterbacks. That would be, let's think about this. That would be Carr, Cook, and Kaepernick. Why not? Carr, Cook, and Kaepernick. Why not? I like that. And we've got Giovanni Fernandez writes, what's real about the theory of online and Carr conspiracy? Nothing. Bosch Ruler says it's only going to get worse for the Raiders. Ms. Zeitgeist 85 writes, it's scary because so far there's no motive. There's a motive. All we know about this guy is a 64-year-old accountant, and before all he did was drink and gamble. No, this is where I disagree with everybody. The motive is before us. Riddle me this. Why is it when these incidents happen and you've got a Muslim guy that shoots white people, that automatically the motive is, oh, he doesn't like America, okay? Or if Dylan Roof shoots a church full of people that look like me, he's against black folks. But when this guy, Paddock, kills a field full of young white country music goers, you don't say he's got something against young white country music goers? And it was obviously premeditated? I'm sorry. The motive is clear. He's got something against them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done that. I mean, he sure as heck didn't pick a room full of octogenarians. Okay? So, it's laid bare before us. The guy is a nutso. It doesn't matter who you... This is the other proof. It doesn't matter who you pick. It's what you did. You're nuts. You're nuts. And somewhere along the way, he expressed that idea to somebody. Someone knows what was in this guy's head. He didn't perfectly hide in plain sight. Maybe this so-called girlfriend of his will spill the beans when she gets back, you know? Something's out there. Something is wrong, and somebody knows what's going on. Pedro Gallardo says the Vegas shooter had a girlfriend. I think her name is... Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, she... And something about... Pedro says, I have heard he was off of his depression pills. Okay, so this is what he does when he gets depressed. That's definitely mentally ill. Joseph Bensman writes, let's see here. Yeah, they say the girlfriend is in Tokyo. They'll definitely talk to her when she comes back. John Mark says, sign the map. Valerie Ruler says, Raiders will be 3-6 when bye comes. Laugh out loud, should have stood with us forever, Oakland. John Marks writes, cap. Dorian Sandavera writes, Jeff George comeback. The Barber 1974 writes, I remember a video of you at the owners meeting telling an NFL executive, you know, this deal is one terrorist act away from them, and he cut you off and he said, didn't want to talk about that. Wow, okay. Yeah, I did say that, and I gotta find that video now. Who did I say that to? Was it Bob McNair? Maybe Bob McNair. Let me find that one. And himself. John Mark says, and he is right. Bashirul, he hates Trump. Joseph Ben says, an obvious solution. Ms. Zeitgeist says, I think we'll eventually find a movie. I heard that too. Mark Davis. Oh, the March owners meeting? You mean, okay. This March owners meeting, I said that to somebody? Now I gotta find it. Did I say that to an owner? Or did I say that to somebody? I remember saying it. No, look, I remember saying it because I said it before. Now I gotta find the thing. Okay, so now let's all go on a hunt. All right. Oh no, Pedro, that's cool. I understand. You don't owe me an apology. I said it to a reporter. Ah, yeah. Okay, it might have been one of the Las Vegas Rejuno, Jason Cole. Let's go back and find out. Okay. Let me go back and find out. Let me go back and find out. Hold on a second. Let me go back and find out. Let's see here. Go here. And Richard Gray is telling me, thank you for the Facebook message now. Richard Gray is saying that Carr had a transverse process fracture in back. Well, according to Jack Del Rio, and some reports say Tom Petty is clinging to life. Oh, boy, Tom Petty. Man, oh man, oh man. All right, going back to YouTube to find that video. It's from March when the vote happened. Okay. All right, you're helping me out here. I'm going back to get it right now. That's exactly what I'm doing. Because I do remember saying it, but I know that I didn't ask it during the press conference. I believe I asked afterward. Hold on a second. So, let's see here. That much I do know. Okay. This is slow. Which means I'm going to have to close a page to speed things up. Hold on a second. What should I close? I'll close this. Let's see here. Oh boy. Yeah, okay, let me close that page. That page is closed. Now let me go to NFL annual meeting, right? Annual meeting. Yeah, NFL annual meeting. Okay. There. Ooh boy. Okay. Where is this thing? Where's this thing? Where's this thing? Where's this thing? There it is. Let's see here. Let's see here. Vegas vote Raiders. Streamed. Let's see here. That's March 27th at 10:15. This is okay. I'll go to, maybe it's this one. So I remember there was the vote. So now I'm going back to it. Maybe I said to Eric Grubman.
Depression is a tangle of multiple symptoms.
Skip ad. All right. I'm trying to find it. Nope. I'm looking for it right now, folks. It's Mark Davis.
Support, and she didn't believe her constituents would support public funding.
Okay.
We accepted that challenge, and partially because we were already.
I'm listening to Eric Grubman.
In another California market. Not all markets can provide public funding. There are
Yeah, I remember saying it.
Public participation, public support. They range from smoothing the approval process to smoothing the legislative process of various permits, and those sorts of things have to get done. Public-private partnerships are very important in every community.
Okay, I got that part. Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily. The consultant was responsible to assess not only LA, but largely government and other economic statistics that are publicly available, and the growth that it has undergone over the last 20 years. Combined to make it a mid-sized market today, but one that is exhibiting significantly above average growth. And
I'm looking for it right now.
Are those things in combination? It's
the funds to flow to build the state. What message does that send?
Significant risk. Did that come up in the meeting or the analysis?
I'm not prepared to.
Oh, here we go.
Ready to take care about.
Here we go.
Not accept those public subsidies?
That's a matter for ownership. That's a policy issue. It's not for me.
Eric, may I have a technical question of you all? The $750 million subsidy was based on a debt coverage ratio of 1.5 to 1. Normally it's 2.
Yeah, I asked about the debt coverage ratio.
And Las Vegas politicians were sharing it. They both agreed that was a rather significant risk. Did that come up in the meeting or the analysis?
I'm not prepared to talk about the analysis that was presented on specific terms. It met all the financial.
Okay, this is part.
And when I ran the numbers, $750 million subsidy was based.
Okay, folks, this is what I found. I know this isn't, I know I said something later, but here's the point. All right, reason why I'm showing this is my comment about the $750 million, which is impacted by this attack, had a debt coverage ratio that I said should have been 2, and yet it was tighter, which means that it's flimsy. This is what I asked Eric, okay?
Based on a debt coverage ratio of 1.5 to 1. Normally it's 2. And when I ran the numbers and Las Vegas politicians were sharing it, they both agreed that was a rather significant risk. Did that come up in the meeting or the analysis?
I'm not prepared to talk about the analysis that was presented on specific terms. It met all the financial tests typical of the NFL staff and ownership policies. Okay, one more.
Oh, hey, Rick Gray, Eric Grubman has never blown me off, okay? As you can see there, Eric has never been disrespectful to me. He looked me directly in the eye. He considered my question. He gave me an answer. So to say that he blew me off, I don't know where you're getting that from. That was not a blow off. He gave me an answer that was public relations competent and complete. You saw he looked me directly in the eye. He let me finish my statement. To blow a person off is when you don't regard them at all. But where you got the idea that no, he did answer it. Let me play that back to you, because I like Eric as a person, and he's never treated me like that. Okay, so we have our differences obviously over this deal, but they're not personal. Look, okay, here, look.
But cities keep offering it. Would it be imprudent of the NFL to not accept those public subsidies?
That's a matter for ownership. It's a policy issue. It's not for me.
Yeah. Eric, may I have a technical question, if you will? The $750 million subsidy was based on a debt coverage ratio of 1.5 to 1. Normally it's 2. And when I ran the numbers and Las Vegas politicians were sharing it, they both agreed that was a rather significant risk. Did that come up in the meeting or the analysis?
I'm not prepared to talk about the analysis that was presented on specific terms. It met all the financial tests typical of the NFL staff and ownership policies.
Okay, one more question.
Okay, see, so I don't know what the staff and ownership policies are, okay? And it doesn't mean that they're perfect. Now, in a meeting behind closed doors, I could do what Mark Bedane had done and once, say, look, that's crazy, right? If you can prove it's crazy, it's crazy. But my point is, he didn't blow me off. And again, I want to say Eric Grubman is a class man. And he has never treated me like that. And that's that, okay? So no, I have to come to Eric's defense. I mean, you can see it right then and there. That's the power of video. He did not blow me off at all. Now, as far as what I'm trying to find out is coming back to that whole deal about. Let me see if I can go forward here. I'm trying to find.
It's I just have to be candid about it. It's upsetting, it's sad, but it's tempered. Okay, it's tempered.
Now here's here. Look at this.
So I don't believe. I mean, it's not something that I am. How do you say? I don't know. I'm just not that broken up over it. Mainly because I wasn't in charge. I know that's just the way I feel about it. I really have to be honest about that. I am not where I believe that. I know that this could be done a different way, in a lot of ways, and from Oakland. And hey, there you go. That's it. So I'm actually quite happy. So yeah, but yeah. So head outside. We're still talking. But it's not over, because we're talking about a deal that's very bad and has some uncertainties about it that are incredible. They really are just incredible. So I don't. And then, of course, there's the matter of the lease. Mr. Davis has his view. The city has their view, but you don't want to see Oakland go down like this. And it's too bad that there's many people in Oakland who, Oakland didn't get a lot of support. But that's it. We have to congratulate the guys. So hold on a second. Ed, congratulations.
Zany?
Congratulations. How do you feel?
Dr. Z, yeah. Dr. Z, Kevin Bolger from Fox 5?
Yeah. Hey, congratulations, my man. Yeah, definitely. So what do you say, Ed? Yeah.
You know what? Maybe you can tell me. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't. The $750 million you and I talked about. I mean,
right.
That was a big deal. I think in that room, it was a business decision.
Yeah.
I'm not sure all 31 were gung ho, but I think they thought business-wise it was a good deal business-wise. I don't know why Miami was the dissenter. You probably know more than I do on that. I don't know why Miami dissented. They did.
I think they dissented because I know Stephen Ross was going to be involved in the development project.
Okay, so that's
that was
why.
the reason. Yeah.
I thought Davis handled himself well. This, as I just told another reporter, this is not a day for him to wave the pom-poms. It's just not. I mean, I know people in Oakland are hurting. I was there on Monday and Tuesday. They're very upset.
I tried to bring the Super Bowl.
They're very angry. And, I mean, it's a hard day for them. And I mean, I understand. I grew up and didn't grow up, but I went to college in San Diego. I understand what happened when the Chargers left a little while ago and how that hurt that city. So yeah, I think he handled himself well to get out of here and not really talk much, because I think he knows. Well, one city in Vegas is celebrating. There's a city in Oakland that's hurting.
Well, it's twice though.
Yes, exactly.
It's twice, because I've been around for it twice.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like,
no, you're right.
But life goes on.
Yeah.
But I think, unfortunately, this is, and folks, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is going to get a lot worse. The rancor is just awful. But I wanted to congratulate you all because, as I said to open my live stream, as an urban planner, you got to congratulate, as a person who worked for 5 politicians, I can congratulate Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval, Clark County Commissioner Steve Sisolak for his stewardship, and the Nevada legislature, as well as Jeremy Aguilo and Guy Hobbs, who've done, I think, a tremendous job of analysis under some very tight time frames. So, you know, you gotta, I mean, if you're a lover of planning and analysis and that sort of thing, and process and development, you gotta tip your hat to them. Yeah. It's just, that's just fact.
They got it done, and now we'll move forward and we'll see what happens.
That's right, yeah. Hey, man. Congratulations. Hey, man, thank you for being a class act.
Dr. Z. Dr.
Hey,
Z.
Dr.
Johnny
Dr.
Saraceno.
Lee, man.
Dr. Z. Johnny Saraceno's
Where's
Dr. Z.
Saraceno, man?
We'll get him. He's in there typing away.
Let's go find Saraceno. What's your name, by the way? What's your name, by the way?
Oh, hi, Ron Boyd.
Hey, Zen, man. Nice to meet you. Hey, how the world famous one? Okay, what do you think about all this?
Well, I used to cover the Oakland Raiders back in the day when they were the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
It's sad, you know, a lot
It's
you
very
know the
sad,
history
yeah.
of the game, and I'm sure it's sad even for Mark Davis. You know, he knows how much the team meant to his dad, and there's that association with Oakland, even when they moved to LA. A lot of people, and he had the deepest pockets.
Yeah,
that's really what it came down to, and I think it's the same thing here. I remember telling Al years ago, they looked at $750 million and they go, free money.
Yeah, that's it. That's nothing.
I'm still trying to find that. Hold on.
No, I think for us, and I remember, and again, I'm just telling my viewers, I'm saying this candidly, folks. I'm not saying anything I haven't said before, and I love Libby, but it's like I was saying to her, you know, give them the land, but get the property tax, because then we can use that for tax increment finance.
Here's Jason.
Go that far. So I'd like to know.
I thought it was kind of an unfortunate place to be,
right?
You know, and it was a terribly unfortunate place to be. But
I think that's a little bit too where the politics work.
Yeah,
work
absolutely.
Into it on that.
Yeah.
Someone is going to run against me saying I gave away all his land to some.
Hey, Jason, what do you think? You want to chime in?
Jason, cool in the house.
Keep mindful of the fact that you're not feeling well.
Aside from the fact that I'm not feeling well, what would you like to know, Zenny?
What do you think about the outcome? You know,
well, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's disappointing. I think it's bad business for the NFL to leave traditional sites there, especially one that's as strong as Oakland. I understand why, and I understand Oakland's decision not to participate in the kind of cash grab that the NFL wants cities to participate in and go that far. So I see both sides of this one. But I also see, like, basically, if somebody offers you $750 million to build a stadium and do all those things, it's hard to turn down that kind of money, and it might be another $200 million on top of that.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about $950 million, and a lot of people turning that down. Am I right, Ron?
Yeah, that's true.
It's just life. It's business.
How long?
But it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks for Oakland, and that's not saying anything against Vegas. But
no, not at all. I've never been against Vegas myself. People thought I hate Vegas. I don't hate Vegas. It's ridiculous.
It's not nothing. It's just bad. It's bad business when sports leagues move to strong markets. You know, it's just like losing San Diego.
Well, like I told someone else, it's bad when you have Boeing forcing Washington to compete against South Carolina.
Or against Dallas, same thing.
Right, absolutely.
It's business. It's just business.
Yeah.
And all of these, all these major companies, they use their leverage how they can to get tax breaks, to get subsidies, to get everything they can.
Economic development 101.
And the NFL is no different than anybody else.
Yeah. Well said. I couldn't have said it. And you're sick, and you said it really well. That's shocking.
It's a minor miracle.
That's shocking. It's my God. It's like unbelievable. Maybe it's that Stanford stuff. I have no idea. Oh, well, you gotta feel better.
I will.
All right. Yeah. So that's it, you know, and well, it's not exactly it. I mean, life got the draft coming up and everything.
Votes. When I thought they had 28, ended up with 31, and so you knew it was going to come down this way.
It seemed like a weird 31. It seems like, because I asked Eric about the debt coverage ratio issue, and I know that look. There's still some issues outstanding.
Yeah, but the one thing we find out is that, although this may sound strange, borrowed money is borrowed money, but the money that he's borrowing for the stadium doesn't count against the franchise. It counts against the individual, and so that's how you go above the 250 limit.
I'm thinking about in terms of, when I say debt coverage ratio, I'm thinking basically that normally a debt coverage ratio like this is 2 to 1.
Yeah.
but they did it at 1.5 to 1 to make it look like they could actually, that bond could actually work. Because I did the math myself, it was checked.
Yeah.
And I thought that's a hell of a way to justify a $750 million subsidy. You're not sure that your hotel is going to hotel base are going to throw off that much tax revenue. You know, so that's why.
But then, I mean, it's being taxed year round.
Well, it's over a 30-year period.
Yeah, but this is not just over the time that they're having games. This is
no.
Yeah,
I'm talking. When I talk about debt coverage ratio, it's the total number of hotels, average roommate for the entire year times 30 years, and then you take that total amount, and then you say, okay, what's the subsidy? Then times that. Normally it's times 2. In Las Vegas convention centers, example, it's times 3. If they had done it using the debt coverage ratio 3 that the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority uses, it would have been tossed out. As it was, if you do a 2 debt coverage ratio, it's only a $49 million surplus, okay? And if you do it at 1.5, it's $489 million, and they chose that.
Yeah.
And I looked at that, and I passed it to the council, and he put it on his Facebook page. He goes, oh my God, we got a problem here, okay? So it's not, I mean, I've done these things for years, so it's not like that. That's why I say it's just because the owners approved it, doesn't mean all is hunky-dory.
No, it's not perfect.
No, I mean, I really fear for this. I say it, I say it again. I'm just going to watch it, and I'm just going to watch it, because at some point, it's going to fall. And I'm not saying that with glee, folks.
No, because, I mean, it's not going to change the equation. I mean, the team is moving.
The team is moving, but for me, when you say it's not going to change the equation for me is the debt coverage ratio problem.
Yeah.
That's the equation, okay? You can move, but you can move into a situation that is patently dangerous. And this situation is patently dangerous.
Yeah.
Remember I told you, I said, when it's announced I'm going to chuckle, I did.
Yeah.
And also I chuckled because, as you know...
But you gave him an easy question. I mean, you gave him a nice, fair question to Roger Goodell. You didn't...
because
I'm not... professional in the
Thank
question.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you. No, because I love the NFL.
Yeah.
So I recognize, and not only that, John, just candidly, Mark Davis, and the one thing I cannot get out of my head is that Mark Davis gave me a chance to offer a stadium proposal. I got Piper Jaffray Investment Bankers, I got a 6-person deal team, so I cannot be so angry with him, but, I didn't get any backing from the city.
Yeah.
And someone watching this may not like hearing that, but the bottom line is, that's the truth. I got Piper Jaffray's people said my numbers are right. The head of the JPA said I crossed every I and dotted every T. Rebecca Kaplan on JPA said so too. We all had met over lunch at Boca Nova, and we went over it with everything, And I was very proud of what I did. So to do that much work, and then to cold call an investment banking firm with Diane Powell, who did the St. Louis baseball deal,
right?
And to then be treated that way, that's why I just am not so disheartened.
Yeah.
Because I had a personal stake, and also I did the Super Bowl, and people didn't give me a chance, and I almost did it. So I'm thinking, give me another chance. Let me fight.
Yeah.
Then let me make up. But they didn't give me a chance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it dragged too long.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at some point you have to do something. Mark said that at the press conference, and I feel bad for the Raider fans because they're so loyal.
I feel awful for us Raider fans. I feel terrible for the city of Oakland to lose the Warriors and the Raiders.
And then potentially the A's.
And the A's. And then also to have just, the fire tragedy at the warehouse that happened this year with 36 people died. I went to see Doctor Strange. Danita gave me I bought the ticket from Danita at the Grand Lake. She died in the fire. I mean, it's just, God, how much can one city go through?
Yeah.
And so, I don't, and we're always disrespected. That's what bothers me. I mean, that's why I fight so hard. But you fight so hard, and you think, well, it's just human nature to react the way that I am. So you want to get mad at me, get mad at me. I don't care. But
sad day.
Sad day. Hey, man.
Okay.
Well, no surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, Oakland really can't deliver. They know it, and it was going to happen. And as long as we're playing musical chairs with cities and stadiums, and we just need one city begging for a team, we're always going to be able to play this game.
Yeah, it's a monopoly.
Yeah, and people find out when they don't have a team how hard it is on the city.
This is the second time for us because I tried to bring a Super Bowl to Oakland.
Yeah.
Because the guy was not appropriate to me, so I'm not going to do that, and that's not happening. So you can.
He's going to look at it. He's going to say,
"Hey, can I get you congratulations?"
Sports for Las Vegas and Nevada. This is the biggest thing, in my opinion, that has happened to the state.
Yeah, unquestionably, and I, as a guy who likes Vegas. In other words, it wasn't. I hate the cliches, but
Hail Mary pass wasn't going to work in this case.
Yeah, I apologize for talking over you because I don't want to do that. I want your opinion. So
that's it.
So wait a minute, folks.
That's basically it.
Folks, wait a minute. That was bad of me. I'm just saying. Okay, so let me shut up.
Okay. I can't find it exactly. I know I said it to someone. It's in there somewhere. At any rate, because I was trying to find that quote about, you know, the whole terrorist thing somewhere in there. And I'll find it. I'll find it for tomorrow. Okay. But I know I remember saying it, and I alluded to the fact that the deal is bad and flimsy. Okay. I did allude to that right then and there. You heard that. Okay. You heard that. So let me see here. It's around. I could spend a lot of time trying to find it. It's around there. If somebody else finds it, let me know, because it's embedded in one of those live streams. It's not broken out. Okay, I can break it out. So anyway, Wrinkle Baby says, yes, I remember you said all it takes is one terrorist attack like a Wall Street crash. Yeah, I did say that, and I'll find it. I will find it. In fact, I'll just stick around tonight and find it, and I'll break it out as a separate video, right? So Joseph Business says, yeah, it's awful. Apparently to be a safe America, you need 40, 50 guns. Ridiculous. Rick Gray says, so John Clayton thinks Raiders will move. Riot's Fortress, that was, hey, Rick Gray, to put that in perspective, that was in March. And John was actually reassigned to Seattle about like a month after that or two. And but what he was saying, John was one of these guys who just deals with what he knows is the facts. He's not this analyst like me, okay? So, but basically, there you go, all right? So Roger says, as is any what Roger Knowles said about the Fortress deal. Roger didn't really make a comment about the Fortress deal. He made a comment about the Vegas deal, not the Fortress deal. And yeah. Crawford says, Rodney, owners see relocation fee money, that's it. Right. Wrinkle Baby says, Zinni, I remember you said it. All it takes is one terrorist attack. I did say that. I did say that. I just have to find it. I just have to find it. See, now you've got me obsessed. And Raider Cruz says, you're looking for the quote I asked you about earlier. You mentioned someone responded, you just spoiled. Wiggle Baby says, what was the reason the NFL said Fortress is not viable? They never said Fortress wasn't viable. They said the deal wasn't viable, not Fortress itself. And that had to do with their dislike for the land. It was all the land issue. But now that the A's are gone downtown, which was the simple or close to downtown, the reasons for why Eric Grubman referred to the deal as not viable have been taken away, and now the deal is viable. Now the deal is viable. It had to do with the amount of land that was offered for the Raiders to be with the A's versus what the Raiders wanted. Now, from the perspective of what the Raiders wanted in Oakland, you could say the Vegas deal is not viable, okay? Just saying, all right? So, Raider Rando says, oh, wait a minute. Raider Kuko says, you're looking for the quote I asked you about earlier. You mentioned someone responded, you just spoiled my dinner or party. Ronnie Randall says, why would you want to ban me? Is this a dictatorship? Rodney, I didn't say I was going to ban you, but the whole point is if you were another person and you were the person that was king and saying that this wasn't a terrorist attack, and I said it is by Nevada's definition, you're trying to argue with me, and I'm saying the definition says it was, I banned you because I didn't feel like you're annoying me with something that's in black and white. Okay? It says it in the statute. I'm not here to do that. And, you know, that's so I didn't want to do that. And I asked you to show me, give me an example where I was wrong. You didn't do that. And so I came back. So if you started another channel just to come back here, I'm saying, don't start a channel just to screw with me, because I'll block you again. All right? I'm just letting you know that. I don't have time. So I am not in the mood. I mean, I am just simply not in the mood. Okay, so that's it. Now, there are people here who disagree with me. Karen Christensen disagrees with me about things, but she does so in a way that is respectful. You didn't. That's it. Big April says, are the Raiders in trouble without Carr? No. Wiggle Baby says, why isn't Oakland working up a deal with them? I don't know that they aren't. So much land there. Raiders can own part of the city, own a part of it, and the city can build up mixed-use stuff. That's the Fortress plan. I don't know that they're not working on it. John Marks says, Rondi Randall, I can ban you if you mention any nonsense about the Vegas deal. Yeah, or just ask questions, but don't, if you're going to come back with us, he could be that whatever that dude, his name is, that, is trying to get his name out there or whatever, but, can't do it in a respectful way. He has to be subversive and all this stuff. Vito 510 says, the Raiders can keep the whole pot of land, put more in parking for us to tailgate. Right. And Karen Christensen says, Wiggles, it's at least domestic terrorism. Yeah, it's written as terrorism. Yeah. Joseph Binsman says, Raiders are not winning a Super Bowl without Carr, proven last year. I don't know. I think E.J. Manuel can get it done. We'll see. I really do. But now you've got me interested in finding that quote. Boy, oh boy. I mean, you really got me interested in finding that doggone quote. And I'm now, I'm now curious, as they say. Was that curious? I'm curious. Quite curious to find that quote. Let me see here. It is 122. Zinni, Uncle Larry says, Zinni, did you hear Mark had a lengthy talk with Jack after the game? No. What did he say? No. What did he say? Probably didn't like something. Anyway. And Wiggle says, Chiefs look good. Wiggle says, yeah, you said something in the words of, all it takes is a terrorist attack or market crash, and the tourism takes a hit, which put Mark in the hot seat. Right. I remember saying that. And yes, Karen, I did get your investment, and I will get your shares to you. I'm behind on getting shares because I got a number of them. Thank you very much. Rick Gray says, sorry, I thought it was with the two LV reporters. I was wrong. No, I remember saying it, though. And I've said it more than once. And it may have been on a live stream. I've said it more than once, okay? Big April says, should the Raiders sign Cap? Mr. Zinni and the Zinsters give it to me. I think the Raiders should sign Kaepernick as an insurance, yes. And John Marks says, sign Cap. In fact, let me see something here as far as the whole terrorist thing. EJ is ready. Cap could be backup. Yeah. Cap could be your backup. Let me see something here. Las Vegas deal. Vegas Raiders. Terrorist attack. I'm trying to see if I show up in here. In Oakland, Vegas Stadium, NFL, Raiders, FA equals, okay. Raiders officially moving to Vegas, purchase land, terrorist attack. I'm going to have to look for this thing. So, plans to thwart terrorist attack on Las Vegas Strip. That was April 7th. So, Metro Police and the resort industry know that the Las Vegas Strip is an inviting target for terrorists. That was April 7th of this year. Raider fans bummed by proposed move. Committee working on stadium also considering sales tax proposal. Ronnie Lott speaks. That's on my video. So it's around here somewhere. I'll find it. I'll find it and I'll break it out. Because I did say it and I remember saying it, and I'll find it and I'll break it out. All right. Now, Rick Gray says, see, KCBS was reporting early night that the Raiders donated $50,000 to GoFundMe account. They did. They did. And the NFL matched them as well. So I'm going to stop at 1:30 tonight and go to bed. I'm going to look for that video for tomorrow. So come on back tomorrow. I will find that video and break it out. Okay, I will find that and break it out. It's somewhere. I said it. You guys think it was one of the owners? I know I didn't say it to Goodell, but I remember saying it. I remember saying it because I've said it before. All right. Oh, Ray Okuko says you said the quote on the live stream from right after the vote when you were walking outside. But Ray Okuko, I went back to that and I was walking outside, and so you're saying I said it right after the vote when I was walking outside? All right, let me go back. Hold on a second. Let me go back. Hold on a second. Because I remember you saying right after the vote. All right, hold on a second. Let me go back and get it. Because, let's see here. If I'm a pretty press conference. There's that.
Depression is a tangle of multiple symptoms that can make you sad.
Okay.
Is a very sound plan, and one greatness of the Raiders is in its future. Option. Fans will diminish.
Our last question for Mark. Back right.
Mark Baker, the Review Journal. Even as you look through the ups and downs.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
The issue is cost. Then you have to be willing to use the arrangement with a third party. So if they decide to summarize it by saying the existing size of Las Vegas above average growth, and those prospects are those things in.
Still looking for it.
Revenues that are legendary and. Sure, how you doing?
Yeah, thank you.
Elliot on this one, thank you.
Elliot?
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate you putting the
Hey, Eric, job well done. Congratulations, man.
Zenny, take care.
Yeah, I don't see it still.
So there it is. I mean, it's done. And oh, by the way, no money given to whatever that person's name is because of his behavior. So that's done. But the bottom line is,
still looking for it.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again with respect to this situation and the plan that Mark Davis asked me to come up with a year ago. I didn't get the backing from the city that I wanted, and
yeah, that was about the city stuff. So I've been through this route, so I don't see
the Nevada legislature as well as Jeremy Aguilo and Guy Hobbs, who've done, I think, a tremendous job.
Yeah, that's not there. I don't see it there. But I will find it. Okay, I'll find it. It's 128. It's going to take a little bit of digging for it, but I will find it. All right. So going back to your comments. Let's see here. And Wriggle Baby says, you said it during the week of the vote. That's for sure. I don't remember it was before or after, though. I'll find it. Karen Christensen says, Cap has played in postseason and is the best chance we might have. Joseph Binsman says, Cap was the starter in a Super Bowl. Right. How people forget. Laugh out loud. Still can't believe he can't get a team to sign him. Wiggle Baby says, Cap hasn't practiced with Raiders, though. He would need lots of practice and a few games to be ready and in sync. Big April says, let's say the Raiders do sign Cap, will Las Vegas freak out? Knowing the stand Cap is taking, will he be a deal breaker for the stadium? Think about it. No, he won't be. Corey Brown says he could probably sync with Crab fairly quickly. John Mark says, sign the Cap. Joseph Binsman says, good point about Crabtree. Was a bummer he was out this week. Rick Gray writes, have you got or anyone talked to Ronnie Lott after the NFL vote on Vegas regarding his attempt to build a stadium in Oakland? I did, but our chats were a little tense because of what I felt was his kind of being speaking two messages, if you will. So I like Ronnie. I like Ronnie a lot. No pun intended, but I do feel that there was a way that he could have done this differently that would have been better, and he trusted the wrong people. For example, if you remember the fans town hall meeting and that drawing, if it were not for my insistence at the last minute, the drawing they presented would not have been to that, even to that little bitty detail. But where they screwed up is I wanted and I called for a stadium specific drawing. Remember, they just had the overhead of Coliseum City, so you had no idea what the stadium was really going to look like on its own. So there's a lot to pick at. Anyway, it's 1:30, folks. I'm going to bed. Remember, Godfather Grizz, 8:30 Tuesday, October 3rd. Godfather Grizz and me, Zenny62. And by the way, I'm going to go back to, right now it's called Zenny62 Daily Vlog, but I'm just going to go back to Zenny62. And the reason is that when it comes up in your live stream, you can see more of what the title of that stream is, rather than Zenny62 Daily Vlog taking up the initial left to right space, right? You know it's Zenny62 on YouTube. That's all you need to do. Peace out. Good night, everybody. God bless. Vegas strong. Vegas strong. If they want to do it the right way, the casinos must write a check. I'm going to find that quote, and I'll get back to you. All right? Big Obey says, wasn't Godfather trying to sue via eminent domain? That's not settled. But good night, everybody. Good night. You can ask Godfather tomorrow. Good night, everybody. And you can bet your last money it's all going to be a warp out. All right, I'll see you guys. All right. ML Scott says, does it have to do with the notification? I didn't get a notification. You didn't? Oh, glad you told me. Hey, if you don't get a notification, ring the little bell here. Go to this. Make sure that you've clicked on this thingy right there. You see that? That bell, ML Scott? Make sure you click on that, okay? Wow. And I'll follow up on that. Make sure you click on that, okay? So, as Joseph Bensman says, guns don't matter, lives matter. See you guys tomorrow. Well, multiple times, but I will find that video about my comment about this being one terrorist attack away from failure. See you guys. Good night. Love, peace, and soul. I'll see you guys. See ya.